Yes! 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 There we go, we got 3 in.
Bang.
Welcome back to What You Will Learn. My name's Adam Ashton.
And my name is Adam Jones, and today we are reviewing a very nice book, The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason.
Nice.
What do you reckon, Asho?
I love it, actually. There's a few... Yeah, mate, it's about personal finances, I'd say.
Yeah.
Good way of managing your money in terms of things like saving, budgeting, paying off debts, insurance, things like that.
Yeah.
But packaged really, really well, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've heard of this book a few times being recommended by a few people because in the past I've been the best managing my finances, and this delivers some very good insights in the form of parables from.
Yeah, definitely. So, man, I like that it's a parable. So I think we had the 1 Minute Manager, which was a parable as well. So it's like a story, I guess, sort of almost like a fiction story with a non-fiction takeaway.
Yeah.
And I reckon this is done really, really well. This is the best parable I reckon I've read.
Yeah.
Because the stuff is like, save 10% of your money. And it's like the annoying shit that your parents try to tell you. And so if it was just like a normal book stating the facts, you should save 10% of everything you earn and here's why, I reckon you'd switch off because you'd be like, oh, this is just like the shit my mum tried to tell me about saving. Whereas I think because it's like, set, 5,000 years ago in ancient Babylon, and it's like about a guy carrying a purse with his fucking pieces of copper and, and shit like that, jingling his purse and and building walls and like, I think it's like it's removed enough so that you can make the connections and make the takeaways, and he's not just like telling you what to do.
Yeah, spot on.
So I think you can take it.
So yeah, you're drawing the comparison. You're forced to draw the comparison yourself within your own life. So your brain's doing some work behind the scenes in it. And yeah, I loved. It just shows like 5,000 years ago, the laws are probably a bit more universal. They're the exact same principles governing now, and say this author's suggesting the same things that say Tony Robbins does and Kiyosaki. It's the same.
The Barefoot Investor. Same sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So this was did you know? So this was published in 1926.
Yep.
So it's 11 different parables, and they're sort of related, but at the same time you could read them as a standalone thing. Did you know they were originally like this guy just wrote them, and then like banks and insurance companies just sent them out?
I think I read that.
It's at the back somewhere.
At the back somewhere.
Yeah.
Just briefly, right?
Yeah, like he just wrote them and was like, and then banks like send them out. Yeah. And use them as I guess teaching people personal finance stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
So there's 11 different things. We're going to highlight probably our favourite 4.
Yep.
Before we get into those, did you read the Foreword?
Yes, I did.
Did you? Mate, because I never read the Foreword.
Yeah.
But I actually picked out something really really nice. Mate, what did you pick out in there? What did you pick out?
Our acts can be no wiser than our thoughts. Our thinking can be no wiser than our understanding.
I like that. Mate, mine was something different, but that's a good one as well.
Yeah.
Hey, because I normally never read the Foreword.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like the author telling us what the book's going to be about, whereas I'd rather just get into it. But this was only 2 pages, so I was like, I'll read it. But you know what I liked? I like success means accomplishments as a result of our own efforts and abilities. So I think a lot of times success is so abstract and nebulous. It could mean we might think of financial success, or we might think of, being a well-respected public figure, or we might think of having a job with power, or having a good, strong family, or there's so many different meanings of success. But I like that this is saying that success is accomplishments as the results of our own efforts and abilities. So it's something that we put in the effort and are rewarded as a result of our abilities. So I like that. I like that definition of success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it, man. So we'll get into it. So at the start, it talks about money in a way that I don't know if you agree or disagree, but it basically says money is the medium by which earthly success is measured. So that's another link to success it writes about. And money makes possible the enjoyment of the earth affords. Money is plentiful for those who understand the simple laws that govern its acquisition. And money is governed by the same laws today as it always has been. So it kind of gives the why toward money, which a lot of people, they don't know why. Like in the past, me personally, I wouldn't know why money. I was like, looked at it negatively and kind of guilt, with some kind of guilt. But this kind of just shows what it can really do and what it can unleash for your life.
Yeah, exactly. And I know there might be people that say, the pursuit of riches is probably not what you should be aiming for, but life's a lot easier with money, I think.
Yeah.
What's in the Wolf of Wall Street? I've been rich and I've been poor, and I choose rich every single time. I don't know if that's a positive role model to look up to.
Yeah, no, maybe not, man. I don't know.
Yeah, but definitely, I think everything becomes. Anyway, it's not about becoming rich. It's just about managing your money properly.
Exactly.
So you can do things that you want to do.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the richest man in Babylon.
Yeah.
Which is obviously one of the parables, but it's become the most popular, hence the name of the collection.
Yeah.
As well.
So the richest man in Babylon, his name was Arcad, right?
Yep.
I got it right?
Yeah.
So as a prelude into his story, it talks about him and this. So he's the same people who were at his level growing up, who were in the same school, and they're asking him the question, we were all once equal, we studied under the same master, we played the same games, and you didn't outshine us. You haven't worked harder or more faithfully. Why should a fickle fate single you out for all the good things of life and ignore us?
Yeah.
Basically.
So all these blokes that are saying, we're all the same, how come you're rich and we're all just not?
And his answer, you have either failed to learn the laws of wealth or failed to observe them.
Yep, I like it. I like it a lot. He's saying that he decided he needs to put in the time and the study, as you say, to learn those laws of wealth. And do you have a mentor? You had a mentor of sorts, is that right? I'm just trying to remember that.
Not too sure, but what I did pick up that he basically, he says here, where did I fucking put it? But basically he wanted to be at the banquet of all the good things of life, and he learned that at an early age and decided he's going to commit his life to gathering wealth and doing the best.
Let's have a quick
ad break,
and we get into it. We're back on. So we just had a quick break. So he started making money.
Yeah.
And man, I'm sure he had a mentor. I'm sure I'm not confusing this. But anyway, so he made his gold, and he was able to save. So the whole point of this book is to save 1/10 of everything you earn, which we'll get into a little bit more later. But then a year later, his mentor. Now I hope he's got a mentor, because I'm going to keep referring to it.
Yeah.
A year later, his mentor checked in, and he said, "Okay, so what happened with all the gold you saved?" And he said, "Well, look, I gave it to Asmer, and he's a brickmaker, and he told me he's going overseas and he's going to bring some rare jewels back, and we'll sell them." And so his mentor says, well, every fool must learn, but why would you trust the knowledge of a brickmaker about jewels? And would you go to a bread maker to inquire about the stars? And so obviously it's saying that why would you trust someone who isn't an expert in their field about something else? Obviously, you'd go to a brickmaker to build a wall, but not to invest in red jewels that they wanted to sell for a profit, but it didn't work out too well. Yeah, did it?
So point taken. Basically, don't go into areas that you're not aware of. So invest your money in industries that you actually know quite well.
Yeah, exactly.
And you'll be pretty safe.
And especially don't partner up with someone else who doesn't know what the hell they're doing either.
Yeah, spot on, man.
And then, next. Okay, so a year later, so he goes away, he saves 1/10 of everything he earns, and this time when he gets checked back in, he said, I lent my my gold to the shield maker, and so he had to buy materials, and then he paid him back his capital with a bit of extra for the rental of his money. And Algamish, that's his mentor. Sick, Algamish. So he said, okay, well done. You haven't wasted your money this time. You've invested it wisely. So what did you do with the earnings or the interest? And he says, well, we had a great feast, and, I got honey and fine wine and spiced cake. And Algamish says, you eat the children of your savings.
Yeah.
And he said, well, it was an improvement, but you need to make your children's children go to work or
whatever. So he says every gold piece you save is a slave to work for you, and every copper it earns is a child that can work for you. Get thee an army of golden slaves, and then many a rich banquet you will enjoy without regret. It's an old book. Old parables.
Yeah, but I like it. So then he says that the third year, so he gets it right. So he made his gold, and then he got his coppers, and then he put them to work as well, and made money from them as well. So what it's getting at is a nice little simple breakdown of compound interest.
Yeah.
So obviously with compound interest, you put in $100, and then you might earn, if you earn 10% interest, you get 110 back. The next year you invest 110, and you'll get 121 back. Rather than just the $10, you get the $11, and then obviously growing exponentially from there.
Spot on. So with compound interest, it looks like at the start you don't see the gains straight away, but over time you really get some serious benefits over a lifetime. So
definitely. And then you can have feasts without regret.
Yeah, spot on. So if you start investing when you're a bit younger, then you can really see the benefits later in life.
Yeah, and that's it. And then, with that 10%, the 1/10 of everything you earn, obviously the first year it's not going to look like a whole lot, especially if you get paid 1 week and you get paid, I don't know, you get paid $1,000 and you save 100. You might think, well, what's the point of saving $100? I'll just go buy some beers on Friday night.
Yeah.
But then obviously over the course of the year it's going to build up, and then invest in that with compound interest and continually adding 10%. It's going to build up and up and up.
Yeah,
but you've got to start somewhere.
So the second chapter we both liked was 7 cures for a lean purse.
Yeah. So that's when your purse is empty.
Yeah.
And you've got to fill it up with gold and copper.
Yeah.
And make it jingle.
Make it jingle.
Yeah. So what's the...
So basically, so someone was asking Arcad, this rich guy, how the hell do you make so much money? And why don't you teach the rest of the citizens of Babylon? So so basically they get 100 men in the room with Arcad and do over 7 days, get 7 days of wisdom from the great man Arcad.
Yeah.
And the first day, the first lesson they learnt was start thy purse till fattening. In that accent. Yeah. So that's
a good Middle Eastern accent.
Yes. Well, it's a pretty simple lesson. It's just basically put more money in your purse than you take out, and you'll start to get fat.
Yeah, exactly. Fatten that purse up. So again, the main takeaway is from everything you get, make sure you save at least minimum 1/10. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I definitely need to work on myself. So for each 10 coins I put in, I spend but 9.
Yeah.
The second cure.
Second cure. So the second cure is control thy expenditures.
Yeah.
So we asked the class, how many of you carry lean purses? And it's pretty much all of them. Everyone in the room had lean purses, even though they had different responsibilities and they all had to pay different things.
Yeah, exactly.
They earned different amounts of money, but they all had the lean purses, basically.
Yeah, everyone earned different amounts, but still everyone had nothing left at the end of the week. Yeah.
So the moral of that story is, like, what we call necessary expenses will always grow to equal our incomes unless we protect to the contrary.
That's it.
So if you don't do a budget, what we define as necessary expenses always increases. Like a few years ago, for example, say, like me and Ashton have breakfast at a nice restaurant on South Bank every Friday morning. A few years ago, I wouldn't consider that necessary. I would consider that a luxury.
Oh, definitely.
Now it's necessary. It's part of the bare minimum spending of the week.
Tater tots. Yeah. You've got to get them in.
Yeah, spot on.
Yeah, that's it. And that's it. Like whenever your income increases and your lifestyle expands accordingly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So normally my issue right now is I've been working full time. So I finished uni. I was working casually as a uni student, earning a couple $100 a week, and now I'm working full time, and I'm saving. I've still got the same amount of money as normal because even though I'm earning 3 times as much, I'm spending 3 times as much.
Spot on. So the solution to that is just to make a budget. And in the past, I looked at people who made budgets as just tight asses kind of thing.
Yeah.
This book really brings the value out and just shows you how necessary budgets are. And those people I used to think are tight asses, they're the ones right now who are buying property and making financially getting a really good position.
And so you've got to make sure you're budgeting for 9/10. Obviously to save that 1/10 and fatten thy purse.
Totally.
Third cue up.
So the third cue up, make thy gold multiply.
Yeah.
So we've already covered a bit of this.
Yeah, so it's about, as they say, putting your gold to work.
Yeah.
So rather than just having it sit there and staying the same, you need to make wise, safe investments of sorts to get a little bit more back than what you started with. Obviously, the easiest way is you have it in a bank account and you get 3% interest. But at the moment, actually, you're probably struggling to get 3% at the moment in this current economic climate. Shares as well, maybe a bit risky, but you get a better return. But it's all about that compound interest. Start small, and then the next year will be better, and the year after that will be better and better. And make those horde of golden slaves labour and earn more gold.
Yeah, get those slave army out there. Rock and roll.
The fourth cue up.
So the fourth cue up, guard thy treasures from thy loss.
Yeah.
So basically, he says the gods. So we must learn to protect small amounts of money before the gods trust us with larger amounts.
Yeah, that's good. That's it. If you can't manage the money you're currently on, you're not going to get more money because, the gods don't trust you. The penalty of risk is probable loss. So if you're making risky investments, if you're asking your neighbour down the road to go and buy jewels for you, then you're probably going to lose it all. So that's the penalty of that risky investment.
Yeah, definitely, man. So the fifth cue up, make of thy dwelling a profitable investment.
Yep. And that's basically saying own your own home, yeah?
Yep. Rent money is dead money, buy your own house. And
Yeah. Rather than paying rent, then you're paying off your mortgage and eventually you'll own it.
Yep.
He's also saying in this, you can make a little herb garden out the back as well. Save money on your groceries.
Yeah.
That's a good way to do it too.
Yeah.
Mate, what do you think about that before we go to the sixth cure? Rent money is dead money.
I don't know enough yet, but I hear from some sources that property is a bad investment. Some sources, like a great podcast I'm listening to, is the property couch.
Yeah.
And from their perspective, it's always a great investment. So hearing things from both sides, so I don't really want to comment.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, I think you definitely. I don't think it's a bad idea to obviously own your own home, but I know like Derek Sivers, who sold his company for 22 mil. He doesn't own a house, and he just rents. And he's saying that with that, because he's got rather than buying a house, he's got the freedom to live wherever he wants, move whenever he wants. Yeah. As opposed to being tied down. Yeah. For him, though, 22 mil, you're probably all right. Even if you owned a house and rented somewhere else. But yeah. But yeah. Fifth cue up, own thy own home.
Yeah.
Sixth cue up.
Sixth cure, ensure a future income. So, basically in our age, super. I don't know what they had in the
exactly. It's just basically saying that this is sort of like if you die, you need to have something there for your family and making sure that you've got you don't want them to be left empty-handed if you were taken prematurely by the gods to the world beyond, as they say.
And I think we'll both be a big fan of the seventh cure, and that's just increase the ability to earn. Yeah,
that's it. Obviously, there's only so much you can do on your current. Obviously, if you manage it well and save 10% and compounding over time, and you can get there eventually. But rather than doing it in 40 years, if you can increase the ability to earn, you'd be able to do it a lot quicker.
Yeah. So investing in yourself.
Yeah.
Upgrading your skill set and become wiser.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think they're the best. I really like that chapter because it's sort of, again, it's that simple stuff that our parents tried to teach us.
Yeah.
But it's packaged in such a way that I think we can. It's sort of so bizarre that it becomes real, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. So my favourite chapter. So that was your favourite chapter in the book.
I think that was my favourite chapter because it was those 7 cures for the lean purse. I like the other one of what do you do when you've got savings? What do you do with it? And then with that interest, what do you do with it? Yeah. I like that chapter, but I think this was more comprehensive.
Yeah. Okay. So I was a big fan of. So the next chapter we'll get into is the camel trader of Babylon.
Yep.
So on the surface, for me, it was a story about we'll get into the actual story in a sec, but on about owing money.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot more to the story.
Yeah, exactly. It starts off, the hungrier one becomes, the clearer one's mind works.
Yep. So it's a story of Tarkad who owed money to pretty much everyone in the city.
Yeah.
So, but there was a real big dog in the city. He was walking around and he was trying to avoid and made Tarkad feel very uncomfortable. And his name was Dabasir, who was the camel trader.
Yeah.
Anyway, so when Dabasir asked him for money, to get some money back, he kind of shat himself, Tarkad.
Yeah.
And said the gods die. He says, anyway, full of excuses, couldn't pay the money.
Yeah.
So Dabasir took him in and told a parable.
Yeah.
Of himself, or told his own story.
Yeah, told his own story. And it turns out Dabasir used to be a slave himself, and he had a lot of debts, didn't he?
Yeah.
Ill fortune pursues every man who thinks more of borrowing than repaying.
Yeah. Spot on. So with Dabasir, and I think this is very related, this story, and I don't know if you agree or if you saw it, but to just proactivity versus reactivity.
Yeah.
So I think this is the story about that, but they say it in the Babylonian times in the parable of being a slave or a free man.
Yeah.
So are you making your decisions, or are you being reactive in your life?
Yeah.
So basically, he became a robber, and one year he got caught and sold as a slave.
Yep.
We got all good. Sorry, there's a bit of commotion going on in the office down here, but it's all good. No, we'll let it go.
I like this one, as you were saying, is a slave or a free man. If a man has himself the soul of a slave, will he not become one, no matter what his birth? Even, and he's saying, if in your soul you feel that you're a free man, you'll become a free man.
Yeah. So basically, he had that moment of insight when he was in the middle of the desert, lying there about to die, and he had that instant, and he started looking at all these problems like thirst and hunger and everything. Whereas in the past, he was reactive and probably a victim to all this shit. But then eventually he came to this and then saw that these are just minor incidents on his way to paying people back and getting his life back on track. And
I like it a lot. Rather than blaming external forces for your misfortune, actually, relying upon yourself and taking action yourself to be able to impact how you move on from here.
Yeah. So I was a huge fan of that, and it kind of led on to the next chapter, the clay tablets from Babylon.
Yeah, I like the clay tablets better because I feel, it was a good one, but I like how the clay tablets, it was more actionable in my view. So this told of how Dabasir actually went about paying off his debts. So basically, again, he was a slave. Once he got back, the first thing he did, is it the first thing? Yeah. So the first thing he did, he wrote down everybody that he owed and how much he owed them. So he made a list of all his debts. And I guess what he did was he went around to everyone and said, look, these are all the people I owe. I owe them this much money. It was like 119 pieces of silver and 141 pieces of copper. So it was in the shit, basically.
Yeah.
But he went around and told everyone, and he said, look, I'm going to start working. This is what I'm planning to do. 10% of everything I earn, I'm going to save. 70% he was going to live off, and then 20% he was going to pay off the debts as equally as he could.
Yeah. Love it. So at the start, he was really struggling, right? And was pretty much going hungry or eating very low-quality food and all that kind of jazz. And then over time, things started slowly turning around a few years later. And
yeah, exactly. So he got put onto someone who he started trading camels.
Yeah.
And it was, he did what he said. He stuck to his word. Every 20% he used to pay off his debts.
Should we let another
so
yes off? Half-time, yes.
Half-time, yes. Okay, we're back in. So he stuck true to his word, and then luck seemed to have come his way, didn't it? He stuck true to his word. He paid off his debts, and then he started getting better camels to trade.
Yeah, basically.
And he started making more money, and he could pay off his debts quicker.
Yeah. So it all came from a different viewpoint of rather than looking at his being a victim to all the problems in his life, he got on top of it, looked at it from a different light, and then killed it, and he ended up pretty wealthy.
He had both gold and silver in his purse to jingle.
Yeah, jingling around.
Yeah, so he was able to pay it off, and he got a bit of momentum up.
Yeah,
and obviously the further down it got, the easier it became to pay it off. And I felt that was nice and actionable. Make a list of your debts, pay them off.
Yeah, spot on. So directly after that, we'll just touch on it. It tells of a story pretty much identical, but a more modern, you can call it that, but early 20th century story of someone doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
With these clay tablets. And I don't think have we mentioned that. So these are all actual stories written from clay tablets, right?
No, I don't think so.
No? Hang on. I'll fucking swear
They're not, mate. I'm
there's
sure.
Some.
I thought that the first time I read that, I thought, nah, it's not. It's made
not?
up.
Fuck, that'd be cool. I thought it was.
Nah, it's not, man.
Right. Anyway.
No, I wish it was.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely not.
Anyway.
But yeah, so these guys, again, so this English guy, I think it was, he had his debts. And again, he went in, the big part here is like, it's hard, but what they did was they went around and said, look, we owe this much money to all these people. This is what we're going to do. We're going to try and pay it off. And so he said the greengrocer, who he'd racked up a lot of debt to, and the greengrocer said, look, if you at least pay for what you owe and then you pay a little bit off the debt, then he'll be happy, because that's more than you've done in the last 3 years. Because the last 3 years, all they did was rack up more and more and more debt.
Spot on that.
So get started. So I think I like that, because I've got a bit of debt to work myself out of at the moment as well.
So I think we've both. So after reading this, for example, I bought an Apple Watch last week for $500. And then during the week, I was reading this and going, "Why the fuck did I buy an Apple Watch? Not even using it." And so I basically got a refund, and
I like that.
And it touches on the start, like what you call necessary expenses. Basically. And the importance of budgeting.
I've changed at work the pay instructions. So now like 10% will automatically go to a different account.
Oh, sweet.
Save 10% of everything you earn. So I'll see how that goes. And I had this casual job that I stopped for 2 months because I was not enjoying it, but I figured I'll do it one shift a week or something and try and get a little bit more to get that purse jingling. Yeah.
Jingle. So
make those slaves work.
Yeah. So who's the book for, our show?
Everyone. Definitely everyone. I like the, it's obviously probably people between 15 and 40 or 50 maybe. Anything who are probably struggling with managing their personal finances, which I think is a lot of people. We've got a lot of credit card debt in Australia.
Spot on. Just think of that 100 people in the room with Arcade. Everyone... So it's quite common even now, I think, if you look around. Yeah. We're struggling, mate. So, overall, good book. Everyone should read it. There's a lot to learn from it.
Yeah, I think it's really well packaged as well. Yeah. All
right, mate. So that probably does us for this week, and
awesome. What's next? What book's next? We haven't decided yet. Mate, you got a good song for us to sing the outro to?
Yeah, we've got one on. We'll go on right now. So,
adios,
Kata Shim. Controlled A expenditure.
Yes, I'm liking this. I am the richest man in Babylon.
Got thy treasure from loss.
Save 10% of everything you earn.
Make thy gold multiply.
Get that purse a-jingling
into our future income.
Make thy children slaves of the children.
Make those slaves work.
Save that money, save that cash.
Camel trader Babylon.
The richest man in Babylon.
Babylon.